love seeing her and cannot wait to hear from her. Am I frozen? Can you guys all hear me?
You're
Okay, good. Everyone
lagging
froze for a minute.
behind. You're lagging behind just a little bit, but otherwise, I think you're okay.
Okay. Well, someone stop me if I need to switch, but I'm gonna just super quick share my screen to go over our calendar. Oh, shoot. Maybe while I figure out my screen sharing, Heather, why don't you just take it away and then I'll end with our like announcement stuff of the month.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to do that. Thank you guys so much for asking me to be on. This feels like such a huge honor. I love Emily and Hannah, and I know you guys have like the best team ever. So glad that y'all are on. Please excuse what I look like. I have not had time to get ready, but that is the perks of this business because you can just wear whatever hat, sweatpants, whatever, and come as you are. But I was going to share a little bit about my testimony first. Um, I know some of you know me, some of you don't, but my name is Heather Head, and I am a Sapphire ambassador. I live just north of Nashville. Have two sons. One will be 18 on January 31st, and the other one is 8. So a second grader and a senior. My husband is a firefighter in Nashville, and we own a construction business as well. So super busy mama of two boys. But the way I got started with Plexus, actually, we had our oldest son, Tanner, and we thought, like, we're going to try to have we didn't want him to be by himself. So I ended up having two miscarriages in between him and Huxley. And the first miscarriage, normal. The second miscarriage was really weird and traumatic for sake of a long story. So my doctors ran a ton of tests. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. But they were like, this was weird. You had a really healthy pregnancy. You're young. This should not have happened. So after that, I developed really bad postpartum depression after my second miscarriage. I had major anxiety. And I am one of those people that likes to control everything. I'm an Enneagram 1. So I hid all of my emotions. I was like, I can handle this. So I kind of stuffed it in and it just started taking over my life. Like I was not having the quality of life that I wanted. I was scared to go out. I was canceling plans with my friends all the time. I had intrusive thoughts. I was just crazy obsessed with our son Tanner and his safety. Just not a healthy situation. I was exhausted. Had no motivation to work out. I was just, had really bad periods. I was suffering from seasonal allergies. I would get allergy infections, like I would get sinus infections and all the throat junk and stuff like that constantly. It felt like. So on the outside, I looked normal, but I was battling with all these things that people didn't know about. I remember one day being in the shower and I like had a full blown panic attack where I was like, oh my gosh, because all that stuff eventually comes bubbling up, right? So fast forward to I was in a small group women's Bible study. And this part I want you guys to pay attention to because this is a very important part of my story and it kind of stuck with me, this part of it. And it still does to this day. So I tried to ingrain this into my friends. So I was in a very small group Bible study. There were 5 of us women. I was in there with one of my really good friends, and she had just started Plexus, but she did not mention it to me. She didn't ask me if I wanted to try it. She didn't ask me if I heard about it, any of those things. But I was watching her story. So she posted she posted a thing about gut health and a list. And so I was watching. I did not like one of her posts, nothing. I didn't talk to her about it either. But I saw her post and I was like, oh my gosh, like I could check off a ton of those things on that list. So I started doing my own research. So I got online, I Googled Plexus, I came across diamond documentaries, I'm watching all that. And then I was like, I don't know, like maybe this can help me. At the same time, our son was playing baseball on a team with a girl whose husband was our coach. That girl was drinking Plexus at the ballpark. And she turned around and asked me, she was like, hey, have you heard about Plexus? And she was like, I didn't know if you've ever tried it before or not. And I was like, no, I've never tried it, but I would love to. So she gave me a sample. I tried it right there and I was like, oh, it's so good. Like I thought it was going to be like that drink that you drink when you're having an ultrasound, like I was like, what, this is going to be disgusting. But it was so easy to use. And I was like, it tastes really good. And I'd already been doing my research, right? From my friend's post who didn't reach out to me, who didn't offer me a sample, and who saw me every single week. So I ended up signing up with the girl who gave me the pink drink. Why? Because I was watching her also. She was vocal about it. She was on the phone with people about Plexus at the ballpark. She was posting. She was checking up with me. She followed up with me 3 times before I ever joined. And I was like, you know what? I talked to my husband, and he was like, that girl, who is now one of my very best friends, it's Diamond Jennifer Shaw. She was like, he worked in the concession stand with her, and he was like, you know, that girl that gave you that Plexus, she's making like $2,000 a month. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. He was like, what if you could make $500? And I was like, I cannot make $500 a month. Like, I'm not spamming my friends. I'm going to be horrible at that. I'm not doing that. But I was like, I am going to try it. So I ended up signing up with her because she was consistent, because her store was open, you guys. So I want that to stick with you, that you never know who needs these products, but you have to be bold enough to ask. So she asked, I ended up joining her. I went silver in 2 weeks. And then I went pretty fast to senior ruby. I got to senior ruby in 12 months. And I was so excited. I remember being like, oh my gosh, like, let's go look at our Lexus and let's go do all these things. And so we went to Lexus, and when I went senior ruby, like the next day, I picked out my car, all of that. But at the time, I was really just sharing testimonies and stories, which is perfect. But to get to Emerald, I needed to share more about the business and the opportunity. And so I kind of hung out at Senior Ruby for 3 years, but I did not quit. And this is where a couple things I want to talk about tonight come in: consistency and having a really strong why. So, why did I stick with it for all these years? I've been in 10 years now. And I am so blessed by this opportunity. I'm so grateful to God for placing it in my life. I always felt like it was a calling. I prayed before I joined, before I said yes and clicked yes on my card. I prayed about it because I was like, we're a single income family at the time. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was like, I don't want to give my husband another thing to pay for, and I have to be committed to this. And I'd never been committed to anything before, like prenatal vitamins. That was about it. Everything else I stopped within like 2 weeks. I was never consistent. And so I knew I had to be consistent. And the same with the business. So when I started sharing, I knew I'm going to have to share. I'm going to have to do this consistently. And I remember making my first post. I was at the lake. I had like my pink drink and a book, and I really just said something like, pink is my new motto, or something like that. That was all. And then I posted my products. And I just posted little bitty wins, but I was consistent with my posting. I wasn't spamming people. I always suggest like a 2-to-1 ratio. I don't know what Emily and Hannah suggest y'all to do, but I suggest like 2 personal posts to 1 Plexus post, because I didn't want to, spam everybody with just Plexus. They're your friends and family, and they want to see you, not just Plexus on your social media accounts. So I say that, but I've always posted. I still post to this day, 10 years in, because I want people to know we don't have a brick and mortar store. Our social media accounts are our store. And of course, we have sip and sees and we get in front of people, but you're never going to be in front of as many people as you are when you're on social media posting. You're just not going to be unless you're like in a stadium somewhere, right? So think about your post. Think about what kind of post you're making. In the beginning, posts about little wins are so impactful. Like your audience wants to know how Plexus is helping you. They do love that when you borrow belief and share other people's testimony, but they also want to know like, hey, Plexus helped me skip that Red Bull that I normally would be drinking right now. Or I was able to get up and work out because I felt refreshed after a really good night's sleep. Or, skin health is really changing the acne scars that I had for so many years. Just little things like that really impact people. So I'm always posted. I still stand by that. Like I said, I post still the same consistently. So people know that my store is open, because people are going to go with people that they know what their hours are, right? So not that we really have hours, but they want to know they can count on you if they are making this investment. And we also have to be really committed to our customers because we don't want our customers to think that Plexus is just people trying to get their money, right? So I'm very intentional with my customers. I reach out to them every Monday. I just have a customer checkup on Monday. It just helps me to remember. I know some people put the dates in, but easiest for me is to check up with my customers every Monday. And so I basically hold their hand the whole 60 days. I check in every single week for 8 weeks. And I give them a little gift once they're consistent 4 weeks and 6 weeks. But I just customer care is super important because we want those people to stick around. And then I always offer the opportunity, like, hey, you trusted me with this. Let me help you get your money back. Helping 3 people right now is going to earn you over, like this month, it's over $400. You know, it's a huge deal to go Fast Start Silver. When I went silver, I earned $175 and it was the best blessing. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting actual cash. So don't discount that Fast Start Silver and just make it simple. I feel like we can make it so much more complicated than it is. It's just, hey, who do you know? Like, would your mother, your sister-in-law, your best friend want to hop on and do this with you? When we have an accountability partner, we're so much more apt to reach our goals. Something like that. And, just keep bringing it up. If they say, no, not right now, when you're checking in and they have good results, say, hey, why don't you share this result? So continually sharing about the business. That's what helped me move over the hump from Sapphire to Emerald. I just had to do some coaching with myself, some personal growth, which I highly recommend John Maxwell. I did a lot of John Maxwell in those 3 years. I was just at a place where I needed to grow myself. So if you find yourself and you think you're stuck, be grateful for where you are. If that's in this season or if in a season before, it's going to be in a season to come, because in this business, we have ups and downs, and all of us are going to find ourselves in a place where we wish we were the next rank or whatever. So if you find yourself stuck, I highly suggest diving into personal development, watching videos of diamonds that you love, and just getting on these team calls, letting yourself get poured into and applying it. The next thing I wanted to talk about was having a really strong why. So I beat this into my team and I've trained on it a whole bunch, but your why is going to be the thing. I see so many people on here, and I know you guys are on here. You're going to be on these calls because you're either interested in the business or you are already full-fledged doing the business. So either way, you need to have a very strong why. And what does that mean? It's basically why you want to share this, what this opportunity is, or these products, why you're sharing them. And it needs to be the last thing you think about when you put your head on your pillow after you said your prayers, the first thing you think about when your feet hit the floor in the morning. It needs to be that strong, but it needs to invoke emotion. So when I share my why, I cry every single time because it is so deeply personal for me and what I want for myself and my family. And I can't imagine not having it. So if you have a why and it's like, oh, my why is to retire my husband. Let's say it's that. That's not my why, but if it's your why is to retire your husband, then I want you to peel back the layers. It's kind of like an onion. And I want you to think, okay, why do I want to retire my husband? What does it look like when he's retired? For me, I did want my husband to be home with us more. He was working so much to provide. So I wanted him to be home with us more because at the time he missed a whole soccer season and he was missing out on all these things. So when I thought, I was like, he's going to be able to be present in these moments with Tanner. We're going to be able to travel and make memories, the things that really, really, really matter. So whether it's retiring your husband, it's building a dream home, it's not even that, it's paying off debt, it's saving for a college fund, whatever it may be, I want it to be so strong, you guys, that it makes you cry. So if it doesn't, keep asking yourself questions or ask somebody to peel back the onion and the layers with you. Because the reason I say that is it's easy when things get hard with Plexus to switch from, oh, this is my plan A to, this can be my plan B. I'll go back to working my 9 to 5, or I'll find a second job. Like, it's fine. It's not fine. because this opportunity can change every single thing for you, for your family, for generations to come. It truly is a legacy business, but you have to be willing to put in the work when it's hard. And that's remembering, why am I doing this? And not stopping, just keeping that in the front of you and your blinders on and moving forward. Because it's up and down. It's not a straight path to diamond. It's definitely down and up and down and up and all over the place. And I'm sure Emily and Hannah could tell you, just like I could, that we've been told no a million more times, that we have spent so many late nights and hours working and sending out messages and doing all the income producing activity. And we still do, because that's what it requires to get to your end goal, right? So having a why that makes you cry. And then, of course, sorry, I've got my notes here. But back to consistency, when I was saying consistency compounds, but so does inconsistency. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that, not to get on a soapbox, but when we are inconsistent with our IPA, when we think that if you have a why, and I'm just going to use the example of retiring your husband. If you have a why that's like, I'm going to retire my husband, but then you're like 1 hour a week working plexus. Do you think 1 hour a week is going to retire your husband? The answer is no, in case anybody needs a refresher. It's no. But we need to be consistent with our income producing activity, with our efforts, with reaching out. Of course, you are not going to be tied to this. You don't need to be. I'm speaking for my own team. I've had a few people say, I just felt like I was tied to my phone all the time. If you're tied to your phone all the time, you're not working this business correctly either. Because being tied to your phone all the time is not freedom. And that's not what we want. We're working this for freedom. So if we're on our phone all the time, it's not time freedom. So my suggestion 100% is work plexus consistently. Because if you inconsistently work, or if you're on your phone all the time, I've been there, is the reason that I know it's not good and it's not freedom. Because I have been on my phone all the time. And what happened was I wasn't getting that much done. I was just thinking about a lot of stuff, doing all these things, and I really wasn't doing a lot. I was just doing busy work. But when I started doing intentional hours, I get so much work done. I felt so free for the rest of my day. I'm able to be intentional with my kids. I'm not worried about, oh my gosh, who did I forget to message? Oh my gosh, I forgot to make the post. And all of those things are not filling my brain, because I brain dumped them in the morning when I did an hour of intentional IPA. Then I went on about my day. Then I'll check in again on my phone at night, just in case. It's my just in case hours, in case I missed something on my team chat, or in case I need to follow up, or someone has messaged me with a problem. But intentional work, you can do this intentionally and not be tied to your phone. And it won't be the inconsistent of, okay, I'm going to work today, but then I'm going to go 3 days and not work. And then I'm going to hop on again. Then I'm going to ghost my team chat and my team. It just starts making you start losing credibility, is what happens. You lose credibility to your audience, and you also lose credibility to your teammates. You lose credibility to your sidelines. It's just not good. And it's kind of hard to come back from when you do that. Of course you can. And that's where I am suggesting definitely time blocking, time management, and just keeping consistent with your posting and your sharing, and being bold. Because again, my friend never reached out to me. I signed up with a complete stranger, and my friend doesn't even do plexus anymore. But I would have loved to be on her team. I just wanted to sign up with someone who I knew would support me and who had the answers, and I knew who was going to continue being there. But that's all I have. I hope that you guys took some away from that. My main tips are to be consistent, to have a really strong why, and just know that both of those things compound, consistency and inconsistency. So try, even if you can fit in, some days I call it like a hot mess day. If I have a million things to do, I will do 30 minutes, but it's like a massive block of 30 minutes. I turn my phone on do not disturb. I get in all my work 30 minutes. And I know, like, if I have all these non-negotiables, like doctor's appointments and kids' ball games and family dinner, or something like that, and I only have those 30 minutes, I'm going to be super intentional with my 30 minutes. But usually I do an hour to 2 hours. And sometimes, of course, I have a bigger team, so my time is sometimes longer than that, depending on what we're doing. But that's what I try to do with my intentional IPA hours. But thank you guys for asking me to hop on. I love seeing all these faces. Does anyone have any questions or that I can answer? Anything?
Thank you so much, Heather. This was awesome. I have a page of notes here, and I feel like what I love about what you just brought was just the simple stuff. There was no like extra, it wasn't, here's your secret sauce. It's like, here's the tried and true work that when you focus on that, you cut out the fluff, the busy work, and you get focused and intentional. Like, this is how you have built your strong business and how you are still here, still like going to Leaders Tree and like growing your team 10 years later. And I love that so much. So I really appreciate that. One of my questions was like, do you plan your work time ahead of time so that you know what's happening during that focused morning time? Or have you just been doing this so long it's kind of like just auto mode?
No, so I do with my team, like on Monday, I do an IPA morning hour, and then I do the same. So we do like an IPA sheet, which of course I know kind of what to do, but we use a little sheet that we have, and we kind of just go down through that so that I like to, I'm a paper and pen kind of girl. So I like to have all my sheets together so I actually can flip back and see like, oh, I reached out to them. I've got to follow up. So I use IPA sheets. I have them printed out. I have them in a binder and I just go through. I've done that since the very beginning. When I like after I went silver, I printed off a bunch of IPA sheets and put them in a binder. And that's still what I do to this day. So I still have a revolving follow-up list that I've had since I started. And some of the people, you guys, seriously, I've been doing this for 10 years. I just signed a person last month that I had been following up with for 10 years. Like, that's the other thing, like following up, like I wasn't reaching out all the time, but I would reach out like with a special. We were still having a relationship, still my friend, of course, like I wasn't just plexus, 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 but I had them on my list and I knew that we had talked before. So I just keep that list revolving and they sign. I always say it's never, unless they tell you no, and I still think no is kind of like a yield that eventually they're going to join, but I always think everybody's eventually going to join. So nobody's really told me no or like blocked me before anything. I don't do it spammy, but I will say like, oh my gosh, girl, like we have this really big sale. Are you still thinking about it or do you want me to leave you alone? And then they're like, oh no, I'm still thinking about it. Please keep checking back in. So if they're like, yes, leave me alone. I'm like, okay, I love you still. I'm going to still be your best friend. I'll leave you alone about plexus. But I do that. So yeah, I have a printed out IPA sheet, that we do.
That's so great. Tried and true. All right. Who else? Anyone have any other comments or questions?
I have one. Hello, Heather. You're so pretty. You said that you look bad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to look bad like that. Um, okay, so in your season of sitting at the rank Senior Ruby for 3 years,
Mhm.
everybody take out of your head like a Senior Ruby, because I'm sure people would be like, oh, I'd love to sit at Senior Ruby for 3 years.
Yeah.
So take that out. Like you're
Yeah.
sitting at a rank with goals to advance. You're sitting at a rank for 3 years.
Mhm.
Obviously, like you succeeded and you worked through that. But like, what would you say, like, if you were to go back to that period and like if you could go back to Heather Head and you saw yourself like in a weary season, like what would
Mhm.
you say to yourself? Or like what would you say to somebody who's in that season right now where they're just like, I've been here for years and years and years and I'm going backwards. I'm not moving forward. What would
Mhm.
you say to them?
Well, this actually resonates with me today too because I've been at Sapphire now for this is my 5th year at Sapphire. But I will tell you, even with myself today, and I might cry saying this because I know it's me. So when I was a senior Ruby, number one, I needed to work on personal development. I'm going to tell you guys this. Do not judge me. But like, I went to senior Ruby so fast, and I was like, I totally know how to do this. Like, I don't need any weird heebie jeebie leadership jumbo crap. Like, I'm fine. Like, I just didn't listen. Again, as the Enneagram wanted me, I'm like, I need to be in control. It's fine. I can figure it out. Well, I really couldn't figure it out. So I did need leadership development. So I did that, but I also didn't have belief in myself. I had belief in my team, but I did not really believe I could be Emerald. And I was like, I'm fine. I kept saying, like, I'm fine. I didn't set goals because I was too scared of missing them. So I was like, I'm not going to set the goal. I'll get there when I get there. And I was not getting there because I didn't believe I was going to get there. I didn't have a goal. And I was just like, just trying to baby myself really. But I remember the breakdown moment where I was like in my bathtub. I did a lot of work at that time in my bathtub. And I started crying because I was like, I just don't believe that I can do it. Like, I know that's the issue. Like, I don't think I'm Emerald quality. And I was like, but if I lose senior Ruby points, like, I'm going to die. Like, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm going to die. This is going to be horrible. And so I started thinking, okay, I'm going to start working my business like I'm an Emerald. My upline, she was an Emerald at the time. She kept telling me that. And I heard it from trainings. I heard it from other people. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do the weird thing. It is not weird, you guys. What you tell yourself is what you believe. So I would go back and tell myself, you are capable of more than you can imagine. You are a diamond. So I want you to imagine yourself in at diamond destination. I want you to imagine yourself at a 5-star diamond trip. And so every day, this is what I did for Emerald. I started 6 months before I went Emerald. I started vision casting myself as Emerald. In the morning, I wrote it on my mirror. In the morning, I would close my eyes, imagine myself being in Hawaii. It sounds so dumb, but it works. It really works. So I started believing I'm in Hawaii. I just imagine myself doing it. I imagine myself walking across the stage as an Emerald. I imagine my husband being there, like being so proud. And those were like the big things for me. Like, I wanted to have something for myself. I went to college, had a degree, but I stayed home with the baby. So for a long time, I didn't have anything for me. So I started imagining those things, being in Hawaii, walking across the stage. 6 months later, I went Emerald. And I will say, before this happened, it was the first Leaders Retreat cruise. I was sitting at convention when they announced it. I had the lowest points that I'd had when I was a senior Ruby. I didn't earn one thing at convention on the convention contest. And every convention contest before that, I'd earned almost everything but the highest, like a couple times. So I'd almost swept the convention contest. This convention contest as a senior Ruby, I didn't earn one thing. I looked at the points for the Leaders Retreat for the cruise, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had less than that for this convention contest. It was the same type of structure. And so I told myself, I'm going to be on that cruise. I'm in control of me. So I'm going to start working my business like I know how to do it. So I went back to the basics. I worked my business like I knew how to do it. I swept that whole Leaders Retreat contest. I was in the first, I think, 15 people to sweep the contest. And my business, I was working it like an Emerald. That's when I started envisioning it. I went Emerald 6 months later. And it was so good. So the same for me now at Sapphire. I just have to tell myself I can be diamond. I have to set the goal. So I'm still kind of in that place. But at convention, we were taking pictures of vision casting with my team, and they gave me the diamond. I was like crying for like 2 hours because I was like, I know what I need to do. I just have to jump that hurdle. So I just want to tell all of you, that's what I do, just tell you that you can do it. It's like you 100% can be whatever it is you want to be, Emerald, Sapphire, Diamond. Just start believing that you are and stick with it. Don't give up. Have that really strong why, and just know as long as you stay with it and you stay consistent, you are going to get to the top. The timeline may look different, but as long as you do the things, you're going to get there. And I did want to say this. I do have on my team, I have 5 emeralds. So I have 3 level 1 emeralds and 2 level 2 emeralds. So it's very exciting because at that time when I was sitting there with no contest credits, I was like, I don't feel like I have anybody. And now I have all these amazing girls on my team and leaders and people in like the biggest community. So all of it comes around if you just put in the legwork and believe that you can do it.
Well, and I love that one, you saying like I am an Enneagram 1, like I love to be in control. That's really important to me. And in this business, it can feel like we don't have control because you're working with so many people, you're working with all these customers, you're working with business builders. But I really love how you said you are in control of what you're doing. And
Mhm.
outside of you envisioning being on the beaches in Hawaii and walking across the stage and your husband being really proud of you, like those are all for you. But because of that, you opened up this door for those 5 other women to now have that story for themselves, for them to have this experience and for them to go and lead other people and help change other people's lives. And so I really love that part of our business model is this isn't just Heather getting a trip to Hawaii. This is Heather getting a trip to Hawaii, but also opening up doors for so many other lives to be changed greatly.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
that.
For sure. And for belief. Like I love this. I never love like the shout outs for like leaders retreat and stuff like that. The only reason I want those things for myself in those types of aspects is because I want my team to know if she can do this, I can do it. I am literally nobody special. Like I came from a tiny, tiny, tiny town in Western North Carolina. It literally has one red light and a Hardee's, and like so small. I graduated with 29 people from my graduating high school class of 2000. So like the tiniest town. And in that tiny town, I now have 3 emeralds in that tiny town. So yes, just them seeing us do it. Even if it's silver, if it's earning just $100 with Plexus, sharing that could change so many lives. People don't understand that, like, just helping someone pay for their groceries or helping someone, take a little burden off or help with their mortgage or help with their child care. That is life changing. I looked up the income in my town. The like household, like annual income was under $50,000 for 2 people living in the household. So it's this opportunity that we have is life changing for so many people. And just knowing that we can, like Emily said, open the doors and show people, hey, if she can do this, I can do it. Because, I know her and I know that, she's not like a famous celebrity. She's just a normal mom sharing something that she believes in. Just giving that belief to all of you. I do want so many people to be able to realize their dreams, to be with their families. I think we were not made to just pay bills and die. I think God made us for more, to be there for our families, to make memories, to make an impact in our communities. So I just love that, like you said, it opens the doors for so many others when we show them that it's possible.
It's so special. I love it. That's so great. Um, there was one quick question. What town in North Carolina? What's the small town?
Oh, so my town is called Murphy, North Carolina, but this is the funny part. So it's right where North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee meet. So where I lived was 100% in the Appalachian Mountains. You have to drive up like a mile dirt road to even get to my house that I grew up in. My husband, when he came and visited me from college, my husband grew up here in town. He lived in the historic district of his town. He's never like, he says he's country, but like he does not know country. He drove up to my house. He thought he got lost. So he had to go back out to a payphone because there's no cell phone service. And he's like, I think that I'm like in the Deliverance movie. Like I went the wrong way. I'm like, no, you didn't. You got to drive like a half a mile longer up that road. So it's Murphy, North Carolina, but it's where Georgia and Tennessee meet North Carolina. So I actually went to high school in Copper Hill, Tennessee, because they had football. My brother played football. So we had property in Copper Hill too, because we were right there together. So we were able to go to high school there in Copper Hill. So it's East Tennessee, Polk County, um, and then yeah, North Carolina.
How fun. How fun. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending your evening with us and pouring into us with your wisdom and your story and encouraging us. It's been so great. We really appreciate you.
Well, thank y'all for asking me. I loved it. I hope it was beneficial.
Oh, absolutely. It was fantastic. So, well, we are just gonna go do a recap. And celebrate last month and then talk through December. So you're welcome to listen or hop off if you need to. I'm going to share, Emily, you might need to, do you quit recording now? I'm going to share my screen. No, you don't have to.
We'll
Okay.
keep it going for people who weren't able to be on tonight.
Okay. So let me see if I can share here and bring up, um, go away, skip feedback, open this up. Okay. There she is, beautiful Heather. Thank you. Loved it. All right. So we want to recognize Nancy. She earned $300 of our Christmas cash and enrolled 8 people last month. Lacey earned her cash and enrolled 4. Marta earned cash and enrolled 4. And Reagan added, my chat is in the way. Let's see, 2 last month. So we just wanted to encourage or celebrate them. So proud of you guys. And then December here, today is the last of the 10% off and our free shipping. And then we have that buy 3 masks, get one free, that product that just launched today. Um, Looks awesome, super fun. Addition to our skin health line. We have Leaders Retreat double enrollment credits running from the 1st to the 15th. So if you are close, like maximizing on that is going to be really, really crucial. Brand ambassadors, if you refer 3, 6, and 9, it's earning 150. I think it was like 300-ish and then 450. So again, some of that Christmas cash is on the table for many of our new people. And then we are closing out Leaders Retreat at the end of the month, Icon Club, and the month, and the next payday ends at the end of the month. So those running promotions. Our calendar. So let's see, we have power hours on our Monday nights since we're not currently in our accountability. And then we just are going to look to have some fun on those nights as we try to be focused on some work, but also just some fun, some giveaways for showing up. And then we have our Diamonds in December training series that there will be something to watch and do every single day. So we're going to be posting those in Rising Jewels, try to get them over in our thread as well. I just listened to Christina's today on discipline and taking more notes all the time, like just so valuable. I love this series. It's definitely my favorite. Um, we are then going to end the month with daily power hours led by our leaders on our team. And we have a challenge. We have done in the past, like 100% reach out, 50% reach out. And this year, we want to go and focus on our connections and being purposeful, like Heather was saying, showing our storefronts open so that we are active and present and being the person that people come to when they are looking for, hey, 2026, I'm going to focus on this and I want Plexus to be that avenue. And who are they going to be buying it from? So we want to be purposeful connection and present on our social media. So that's going to be those focus power hours that week. And then I just wanted to recognize this as well because it's a really big deal. So if you haven't highlighted it, I would recommend it or say it again. But being #1 collagen and #3 for skin brightening, like those are really big awards that we should be definitely recognizing and shouting from the rooftops on how amazing our products are and our lines are. We have our Calming Cocoa back temporarily, and then this Advent 12 Days of Wellness bundle is still available for you guys to purchase. It's like $30 something. So, kind of a fun way to gift it to someone you really believe in, maybe your mom, maybe teachers. I don't know. Just, I'd love to hear fun ways people are using this. And I already mentioned our new release of our product, and I think that was it. So I'm going to stop the share. Do you guys have any questions about any of that? Okay. All right. Emily, do you have anything to add? Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
think so, but just make sure you guys come on Monday nights. I think for me personally, like coming and listening to Heather just kind of like reminded me and refueled me a little. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but that was just a really good reminder because if I'm honest, I think I've kind of been getting in my head. And I think what she shared was just really a great reminder. And I think that what we have here with our community and with action and just empowering one another, supporting one another, just this being like a family is so unique and so special. And so I encourage you to jump onto these calls when we host them Monday nights and the following, like the last week of the year. I encourage you to, and I shared this in one of our threads, but I encourage you, if you have even just like one or two customers that live near you, open up your home this holiday season and have people over for just a customer appreciation. We're doing that here in Boise at my house on Thursday night, and we're just doing a Christmas coffee mug exchange, and we're doing appetizers and dessert potlucks. It's like I'm not having to make a ton of things. Like people are bringing stuff and we're coming together. It's easy and it's a way for us to just invite any of our customers, whether they, ordered product one time 9 years ago, or if they're ordering consistently still. It's just a way to like see people in this holiday season. So I encourage you to do that too, like something like that, like just to show appreciation to the people who've trusted you. But I think just this community and just going back to the basics is a really, really good reminder for me.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Like just hearing her share was like, this is simple. The hard is us showing up. Like what we do is simple and it's fun and it's fulfilling. And getting out of our own way is like the development that needs to happen for us to keep pressing forward. And yeah, so I thought that was a really refreshing hearing. Like she's not doing anything fancy or special. Like it is what we have been doing and saying for so long. And sometimes we just spin our wheels. I'm like, what needs to change? What do we need to do that's different? And it's like just the same thing that we know is tried and true. So, anyways, all right. Thank you all for being on. We love you, appreciate you, and are so pumped for December as we close out this year. It's just always such a special time. So excited to be here with you, ladies. Good night. Bye.